Dear diary, it hasn't been very long since I last popped in, with that great effort by the lads to grab a draw away at Larne with 10 men. Off the back of that, we picked up a 3-0 win against Cliftonville, so we're still top of the table prior to an interesting double. First up is a close to top of the table clash against Crusaders. Nice name. A win here means we should hold top spot for a while longer, and being at home, it looks like something which could happen. Then off the back of that is an interesting Challenge Cup game against Arbroath from the Scottish Championship. I haven't been to Scotland before, so I guess I'll need to buy a kilt. And probably some underwear. Yeah, I better go do that now actually. Until next time. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 24 of FMOE here with Linfield on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well and coming up today to start off the new week. It is a double header as mentioned in the intro. First off we take on Crusaders in the Premiership here in Northern Ireland. Then off the back of that we enter the Challenge Cup and take on a team from the Scottish Championship in Arbroath. So if you are looking forward to today's episode then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, but as mentioned in that intro, we've only played the one game off the back of that highly entertaining draw against Larne at the end of last week. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner, as you would have seen in that intro as well. Quite comfortable 3-0 win at home there over Cliftonville, and that does set up a game against Crusaders here, as you can see just above my head. If they win this game in hand, they could join us tied on points on the table, so at home ideally this would be a game that we do win. And I think it's actually fair to say Crusaders so far this season have been slightly overachieving. As you can see there, they were predicted to finish 5th on the table. It did look like, in theory, it should be a bit of a free horse race between us, Glentoran, as well as Larne, so it's fair to say Crusaders, if we can beat them here, hopefully they'll start to fade out of that title race just a little bit off the back of a hot start. And right off the back of that game, we then enter the Challenge Cup, as mentioned at the end of last week. Quite an interesting competition featuring teams from most of the divisions in Scotland, including the reserve teams from the Premiership, and as well as that, there are 2 teams invited from Northern Ireland and from Wales based on previous year's league position, and that is the reason why we are in that competition. In Arbroath, our opposition, they currently find themselves second in the Championship, as we are going to take a trip to Gayfield Park, and obviously with the Championship being one of the highest tier competitions for which teams qualify for this cup competition, they are probably one of the better teams in it, so if we can pick up a win there over in Scotland, we should in theory have a decent chance in that competition. To an interesting double header coming up, and in terms of our squad going into the first game in today's episode, absolutely no injuries and no suspensions to worry about. So as you can see on screen, we are going with our first choice 11 these days here at Linfield, now that we have settled into the job off the back of having a full week here after we did leave Banbridge Town. So with that in mind, we're going to get close to straight into the action for this double header, and we'll come back shortly from Windsor Park for this league game as we take on Crusaders. And it's only taken us a few minutes to get our first highlight in this one. It's a free kick which Quinn does put into the mixer. O'Connor there kind of towards the far post, gets off a header. Unfortunately though, it does miss the target, and not too long off the back of that, we do have our next highlight. This time it is Crusaders who are in possession. They are in the mostly black, we're at home in our blue with the white shorts. Stewart there does well to get the ball off of them, but then his shot is well off target, so a few good chances for us there, but still 0-0 coming up to the 15-minute mark. And not too long off the back of those opening highlights, we now have a corner now, so it looks like we are in a good little patch here early, but hopefully we can score a goal to make the most of it, and Joel Cooper will do exactly that from just outside the box. The corner initially was cleared away, but Shields finds Cooper there towards the far side, right on the edge of the box. You can see him right there, just lingering outside of that circle, and he will just take a touch here and rip that one into the top left corner, and after a good early spell, we grab a 1-0 lead. And only a few minutes off the back of that opening goal, we now have a free kick, which we put far post, and Stephen Fallon will get his head on the end of that. Niall Quinn will get the assist. Fallon kind of headbutts the flag there without actually touching it, so his aim from that one was not too great, but from this header right here, it was pinpoint, just sneaks that one inside this near post, and it's a quick fire double to put us 2-0 up. And not many highlights in that first half, but we get into half time feeling pretty good about life with a 2-0 lead thanks to those goals at the 21 and 25 minute mark. And overall, there was nothing really in that half that we saw to be too worried about there from Crusaders, so quite happy with how this one is going at the moment. No changes needed, and we'll get things back underway with that 2-0 lead. And only a couple of minutes into the second half, Kemi Palmer here has picked up a yellow card, only on a 6.5, so we'll take things safe. I say that. Jake Kane, the big red machine, he will come on for him, hopefully. Doesn't get a red card today. That's our first sub used, only a few minutes in to the second half. And not too long off the back of that first substitution, we do have our first highlight here of the second half. Interesting to see that at the moment, Coleraine are beating Larne. That would be a result which could be helpful for us. Now, a bit of a mistake there at the back from Crusaders, but unfortunately, we do not put the ball in the back of the net. It comes off the post, but we are still 2-0 up. And about 10 minutes off the back of that previous highlight, it was the Crusaders trying to get their way into our half, but thankfully, we get the ball back there through Niall Quinn, and he passes that one back to Logue yet again. But we're in quite a comfortable position at the moment in this game, and Kane now for a nice ball out there to Fallon, who starts to cut his way infield. Will unleash a shot. That one does go high and wide, but while we are here, I think it's a good time for us to make a couple of substitutions. Kemi Logan will give him a rest and bring on Connor Pepper. Also just looking at some players who might need some game time on the bench. Chris McKee can come on for McDade up front, and also Joel Cooper down to a red heart. Aaron Lyle on loan from Rangers can come on for him, and we are still 2-0 up with just over 20 minutes left. And we've just entered the last 15 minutes of this game. Time for us to make our last substitution. The assistant manager told us a while ago both centre-backs are quite tired. O'Connor has the worst rating, so a Gumbo can come on for him. Still 2-0 up. And we are just entering injury time in this one. It's been a pretty quiet second half. There is going to be a late highlight here as Quinn does put this one far post. Crusaders try and clear that one away. Kane puts it back into the mixer. They do then clear it proper, but Niall Quinn will get the ball back for us. We've picked up a couple of yellow cards in the second half, but thankfully it shouldn't matter, and we're going to get a late penalty here for that slight trip on Jordan Stewart, and he will get a chance to grab a goal here and put the icing on this very nice cake here against Crusaders. No doubt a big sword-shaped cake, and he does bury that one in the bottom right corner for his 7th goal of the season, and that is, in the end, quite a comfortable 3-0 win. I imagine there'll be no more highlights off the back of that one. He buries that one bottom right corner. Goalkeeper did go the right way, but didn't really get close, and as you can see, overall, a very, very good performance. Crusaders doing absolutely nothing in that second half, did not get a single shot on target, so probably our best performance since we have joined Linfield that you have seen here on camera, especially domestically. So a very good result there, and that will keep us on top of the league table before we do enter this Challenge Cup, taking on Arbroath, who, as I mentioned earlier, are currently second in the Scottish Championship. We'll come back shortly and run you guys through the team sheets for that cup game. And here are the team sheets for this Challenge Cup game. There are Arbroath, as we mentioned earlier, currently second in the Scottish Championship, in good form, and playing a 5-3-2 there as our 4-2-3-1. As you can see, quite a bit of rotation, only a few players backing up from that previous game. That is because we are not really expected to win this one, so hopefully we can prove them wrong with these fresh legs, but I did feel like it was a good chance to give some of these rotation players a shot here against the team who, according to the pre-match odds, should be better than us, but only 13 seconds in, Kirk Miller with a ball over the top, and Chris McKee thumps that one into the bottom right corner, and we are already 1-0 up here after only seconds. Connor Pepper with a little ball fall there to Miller, and he just finds McKee in behind the defence. Good control with his chest, and puts that one away, bottom right corner, and very, very early, we grab a 1-0 lead. And just as I was about to wrap that highlight up, we are now down the other end for a free kick to Arbroath. Thankfully, Henderson misses the mark there with his header, and we keep our 1-0 lead. And we're 15 minutes into this one. The next highlight is a free kick to Arbroath as they try and grab an equaliser in this game, but thankfully O'Connor is there to clear that ball away, albeit Arbroath are going to try and get themselves back into our half here in quite similar colours to Hearts, it is fair to say. And Henderson with a long shot from just outside the box. Thankfully, that one does just go over the bar. And coming up to the 20-minute mark, we are still 1-0 up. And shortly off the back of that previous highlight, it is yet again Arbroath here who are in possession. But this time, Connor Pepper does some good work to get that ball back for us and starts to make his way down this right-hand side, just inside the byline. We'll play that back to Kane. Just outside the box, tries to curve one there into the top left corner. It does just go wide of the post, and we still hold our 1-0 lead. And not too long off the back of that highlight, there is another as we have a throw-in just inside of our own half, but it doesn't take us too long to get around about the middle of the field. And a gumbo will find Kane, hopefully finds Pepper in a lot of space down this right-hand side. It's a tasty ball there, looking for McKee. Doesn't quite find him. It's a little bit messy here in the middle of the field. The ball does find McKee, but unfortunately clatters this one into the post, and it does remain 1-0 Linfield. And lots of action here happening in between the 20 and 30-minute mark. We now have a corner. We can't find anyone off the back of that, but Lowell does find his way inside the box, and that is a clear penalty allow there. Got nowhere near the ball with that tackle. Should actually be low, shouldn't it, with that pronunciation, but McKee will get a chance here for a double. He sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and that is also his 7th goal of the season. And about halfway through this first half, we are in a very strong position here in a game that, with a rotated team, was not really expecting to win. We find ourselves 2-0 up. And we go forward to the half-hour mark for our next highlight. There was just a goal scored from Arbroath, but the scorer in Henderson was well offside, so I thought we'd cut that one out because it is, of course, a double game episode. But now we are on the attack. Lund here will find McKee. It falls to McCausland somehow. We don't put that ball in the back of the net. Arbroath scramble that one away, and it remains 2-0 Linfield. And that is half-time in this Challenge Cup third round tie. As you can see, we take a quite nice 2-0 lead into the sheds, very similar to what we did do against Crusaders, albeit stats-wise this game is a lot different. Arbroath are getting chances, but aren't hitting the target enough with theirs. Also, of course, we did get that penalty, which helped as well, but quite happy with what this rotation team is doing for now. No changes needed yet again, and we'll get things back underway. 2-0 up. And only a couple of minutes into the second half, the first highlight is a throw-in to Arbroath, but thankfully they give that ball straight to the big red machine, and McKee here with a chance for his hat-trick. He beats the goalkeeper at his near side somehow, and McKee comes into the team and grabs a hat-trick in this cup game, and surely that is the goal that will wrap this one up. We'll also just drop the mentality slightly, but lovely ball there from Kane off the back of them really giving us the ball off that throw, and I think they actually took a pretty big deflection off the defender, but we won't mind. McKee grabs a hat-trick and puts us 3-0 up. And just past the hour mark, we are going to make our first few changes in this game. There's a few players starting to get just a little bit tired from our regular first team, so we'll bring on some first teamers to replace those guys. It will be Load coming on for O'Connor, and also coming on for Chris Shields. Kemi Palmer still in quite good position here, 3-0 up. And we're just about to enter the last 10 minutes of this game. As you would have been able to see there briefly, still doing quite well, even though this is actually quite an even game. We are still somehow 3-0 up, but we are going to make a substitution at this time. Kemi Logan can come on for Noel Quinn down to a red card, and has just picked up a yellow card as well. Only allowed 3 substitutes in this competition, so that will do. And we're 10 minutes away here from making our way into the next round of this Challenge Cup. 3-0 up against Arbroath. And only a few minutes off the back of that last substitution, we now have a throw-in inside the final third. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much on that one, so Arbroath can clear their lines, but we do get the ball back there on the halfway line thanks to a decent bit of hustle from the former Arsenal man in a gumbo. We'll try and play a ball over the top there for McKee, who was searching for his 4th goal of the match, but unfortunately, that ball didn't quite find him. And now Nesbitt, in a little bit of space there down the right-hand side, Logan had a bit of a nibble, didn't win the ball, gets it back there, but unfortunately, that ball, not much of a good idea. And now they're on the attack here. Arbroath will surely score, but that's a great save there from our backup goalkeeper in Johns, and that will keep it at 3-0 with only 5 minutes left. And we've just entered injury time in this game. It's a late free kick here for Arbroath, and Johns will come out and claim now. I think I said before he's our backup goalkeeper. He is not. I just forgot to change that for this game, but a very good goalkeeper is the current first choice, I think, for the Northern Irish international team. So he did keep his place in this team for this game, but we might get a chance here to try and make it 4-0 as Lyle is on the attack here against a fellow Scottish team, of course, with him usually playing for Rangers. But Jake Kane does not like staying on the field. He picks up 2 quick-fire yellow cards, and that means that for the second episode in a row, he will pick up a red. We will just drop McCausland back there to a defensive midfielder for the last minute of this game, as we do have a late highlight. But nothing came from it, so thankfully no damage done there with that quick fire double of yellow cards to Kane. Does look like he might have a little bit of a discipline issue, the big red machine. But in the end, that was a very, very good win in a game we weren't expected to be winning, especially with the rotation that we did do for that one. We pick up a 3-0 win away at Arbroath. That does mean in the next round of this competition, we actually get quite a kind draw compared to what we did have in this round. So I think we should be winning in that one as well. So hopefully we can go a little bit deep here in this Challenge Cup. But as you can see, quite an even game stats-wise, but thankfully we were quite efficient with our chances, largely thanks to McKee up front, and that means we pick up 2 3-0 wins in today's episode, beating Arbroath off the back of Crusaders earlier in the episode. And back in the inbox off the back of 2 good wins for us in today's episode, even though if that last one was soured just a little bit by that red card to Jake Kane for picking up too many yellow cards, albeit that will only affect the next round in this Challenge Cup, and that game is 78 days away, so I don't think we have to worry about that for too long. It will only affect us if we need to put out a rotated team for that game. But as you can see, we have made our way through to the 4th round and are playing a team all the way down in League 2 from Scotland. So based on the fact that we just beat the second best team in the championship, you would like to think that should be a pretty comfortable win for us, even though we do have to make another trip over the border to Scotland. And off the back of that, if we do win that game, which you would expect, we would make our way into the quarterfinals, where things might get a little bit tougher with some potential championship opposition again, taking on one of St Johnstone or Queen's Park in that round. But a very good episode with those 2 wins, and what that does mean for the league table, we are still on top, 2 points clear of Glentoran and 1 point further back to Glenavon, then a little bit of a gap back to the rest of the teams, including Larne, who do still have games in hand, but are a fair way behind us at this early stage, even with that in mind. But if you did enjoy today's episode, that double header with 2 3-0 wins, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Tomorrow we will come back probably towards the end of October, because one game there that does look quite interesting off the back of a couple of cup games off the back of us taking on Ballymena United in our next league game. Glenavon, they are one of those teams who are currently in one of those European qualifying spots for next season, so I think we'll come back and take those guys on. And off the back of that, we may as well make it a double header, because for the first time we get to take on our former club in Banbridge Town. You would think that should be an easy win, especially with it being from Windsor Park. It'll be interesting to see how they do get on, albeit the player that we do have there on loan, formerly of Banbridge Town, Insane Quinn, will not be able to play that game, of course, with us being his parent club these days. But I think that's what we'll come back for in the next episode, another double header, Glenavon and Banbridge Town in the league. And until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.